What I really want to know is who took away my United States? Yeah, I'm here in Canada. I'm Canadian. I'm not American. But you know, being in Canada is living next to a gigantic country with powerful, powerful cultures and all that kind of stuff, powerful economy. So you wouldn't be surprised to learn that when I was a kid, I was under heavy American influence through television. I live near Niagara Falls. You could pick up TV stations from Buffalo. And so where I grew up, I was able to watch, and many, many Canadians were, as kids, American television, and we were heavily influenced by it. I certainly was. I didn't think twice about watching shows like My Three Sons or whatever it might be. You know, it's about space, it's about time. Remember all those old shows that we watched? When I watched when I was a kid, anyway. And you know what? Fantastic, fantastic movies coming from the United States. Great musicians, music, culturally, lots of stuff coming from the United States, and I loved it. A little overwhelming here in Canada, so we adopted some laws to try to keep us from being just washed away culturally by the American forces. So we have things like our radio stations have to play a certain amount of Canadian content per hour just to ensure that we don't get washed away by this powerful, powerful cultural machine that was operating in the United States. And you know, I really appreciate that. I'm not angry about it. I was a little confused by the time I was 10 or 12. I was a little confused about what's the difference here between a Canadian and an American. It really wasn't apparent to me. You know, at that time, American society was moving forward along the lines of a liberal democracy, and so was Canada. And then along came Ronald Reagan. And it seems to me everything started changing in the United States. It seems to me when Ronald Reagan became president, money took over. Do you remember him firing all of the air traffic controllers? I mean, if you don't know that, maybe you're a little too young, but he just fired the entire raft of air traffic controllers across the United States. And that was the end of the labor movement. And that was money taking control. Since then, money has gotten more and more control of your country to the point where moneyed people run it now, right? It's not your average guy up there or somebody who maybe came out of college with, you know, $100 in the bank and managed to become a politician and work his way up. That's not what's going on in your country. Your country is run by rich people, period. Just a handful of rich people. Canada never went down that road. We've never allowed money to take control of this country, and we have a number of very rich families here in Canada, and I'm going to make this number up. Maybe 80% of Canada is owned by a dozen families. I'm not sure that's really true, but it's lopsided here too, but not like in the United States, where it's become unbelievably lopsided, where the rich people have just taken right over, just walked right in and taken right over. What happened to the United States that I liked, that I enjoyed, the one that I visited when I was a kid? I went to Florida a few times, South Carolina. I lectured in a university in West Virginia. When I was a kid, my parents would would decide they wanted to go shopping in the big city of Buffalo. So we'd jump in the car and off we would go. We'd cross the border, no big deal. Go shopping, cross the border to come back, no big deal. Nothing to it. Because Americans, Canadians, very similar at that time. Very similar. Not anymore. Not anymore. Some American politician has sent a public letter to Canadian politicians encouraging them to leave Canada and join the United States. Are you freaking nuts? Are you nuts to even think that there's some potential for that here? We've been watching your country sink for decades now, deliberalize, and now it's really going over the top. No, we don't want to be a part of that. Are you crazy? Holy smokes. You might want to come and join Canada. Maybe that makes more sense, for crying out loud. What an upsetting thing. Who took my America away and put that thing in its place that's down there now? Who did that? I'd like to know. But more than that, Who's going to bring it back? Who's going to bring back the America that I respected, the America that I thought was an okay country, the America that I was happy was leading the world? What happened to that country? How are you going to get it back? How are you ever going to get it back? Well, we in Canada have continued on a liberal democracy journey, just like almost every other country in the world, struggling to maintain a liberal democracy. Not the United States. Somebody, bring my America back. I liked it. It was a good neighbor. Sure isn't now. Thanks a lot for listening to me, and I hope you have a good day.